Yo boys, welcome to my video on shock therapy. These are the timestamps and they'll also be in the description. So for picking this level, once again it's a part of the calculator course / bloodlust ladder, and the only criteria is that the levels have to be around 2.5 minutes long or more, and this one was 2 minutes and 28 seconds, so I chose to put it on there. To review the gameplay, I'll start with the pre-drop. This was by far my least favorite part of the level. I found most of the parts annoying with some very weird unorthodox gameplay. And then in general, it's just boring because the song is super slow, the gameplay is super slow. There's just nothing really exciting about it. So going into the drop, the part between the drop wave and 48 is very spam heavy, which for me of course is a bit of a personal issue as my spam is incredibly weak. But using some spacebar strats, I ended up surviving these parts just fine. So one good thing about this level is that the rest of this is very skill based. So once you have the ability to pull off the parts well enough with your raw skill, they can get incredibly consistent, which works much better for me than something like Disentombed, where you just get random deaths for no reason, even though the parts were super easy. And then another insane thing about this level was that for once in my entire life, I actually liked some duels here. The last couple duels in this level were actually really fun and consistent, which surprised me a lot. So for my overall thoughts, I'd say the first 50% of this level is pretty bad, but the last 50% is good. Due to the fact that you end up playing the first 50% more, just going from 0, I'd say that it does bring my experience to worse than average. For the difficulty assessment, I've chosen to place it here, as you can see. And once again, I'm only comparing it to levels that I've already beaten, and I can say with confidence that this is harder than Ancestral Calamity, even though it took me a considerably shorter amount of time to beat, just because of how Ancestral felt much more luck based, where this one the gameplay was much harder in, but because I was able to pull off the gameplay and do it consistently with just raw skill, it was easier to beat. But that doesn't change the fact that it is harder than Ancestral. And then I'd also say that it's probably easier than Dolos, although it has been a while since I beat Dolos, so I can't be completely certain about that. Going into my experience, this level has a very learny ending, and I actually ended up taking like 4k attempts just learning the level because of, yeah, I don't know, I just found it pretty learny at first, getting consistent strats for all the parts. But then once you actually had those strats, the parts became very consistent, which I do quite like in a level. So going for drop to 100 runs was actually pretty fun in a copy, and it didn't cause me too many issues. It was only when I started actually going from 0 and getting into the pre-drop that I found out how boring this level could truly be. Luckily though, I was able to beat this pretty fast for my standards. This was probably the best I've ever had an experience in terms of the ratio between difficulty and time spent. Only taking a couple days for a level this hard. And yeah, because of the factors that I mentioned earlier of the level being more consistent once you have the raw skills to pull it off, this ended up being my fail chart, where if you compare this to something like Scra, Ancestral Calamity, even Disentombed, they all look so much more extreme just because of how luck based the ending parts are. So with all this being said, let's just peep out the completion. baby.
Let's go.
Oh my god, GG. You're so
Let's
consistent
go.
though. You're getting far very often though.
That was
man, holy shit.
probably one of the most impressive performances on any level ever, to be honest. This
Yeah,
like
you
entire
played, you played like very like high level though.
That's fucking insane.
That was insane how fast you beat that.
Oh my god.
I got
was like,
so nervous.
I was how I was gonna stop this, but yeah, holy shit.
Jesus
I've
Christ.
died.
Yo.
Oh man.
That's actually kind of insane. I was like, no, is he actually gonna do it?